That looks good morning, everyone, and hello and welcome back to another episode here to discover the Flutter Repository. I hope you are all well and you're ready for this today, because we want to have another look into the Flutter Repository. So how are you guys? All ready for today? Good morning, everyone, and hello and welcome back to another episode here to discover. Fantastic. Okay, so my idea is today that we start off right away inside how we get into the project again. So first of all, what I did is starting up the Flutter repository in our IntelliJ. And what I want to do is fetch first all the newest changes. That is necessary so that we get the information from our upstream, right? And what I will do now, because you can see that blue little arrow here, means that this one has a new update and multiple changes. What I will do is I will merge the origin master into the current branch. And what we will see if I push now to the fork, we see all the different changes that have been done inside of the Flutter framework. With that, our fork is now again up to date and we have the newest changes in our repository. Oh, so now let's have a look inside of the repository of Flutter. And because we have now read most of the documentation, or at least we tried, and we have merged our first PR that I'm proudly present to you also once more. You can see here. We have got the +1s, the necessary ones, and also the build was green at the end. So you can see we got from Hans Muller and Xiao Hong the likes. And what we got is also the merge at the end. So after the legitimate calls, we got at the end the closed of the PR and everything looks good. And I think the Flutter GitHub bot was merging the PR. But now we have a complete different problem, right? Because now we have to find a new issue that we can work on. So how do we do that? And this is a good question because, as I said, this is now my first PR. Now I have to learn myself how I'm doing this. So one idea is that we search for the label easy fix. And I don't know if you have seen it, but I think in the pull requests, we can maybe jump here first inside. We have these update from Ayush, and he created a nice article how you can work on the Flutter repository. And why I'm going to this PR is it is not yet merged, but you will find the Medium article from him inside of the contribution now. I want to jump right into that because here we have also the explanation how we find a very good first PR that we can work on, or maybe a second PR in that case. So what do we have? We get some information, some myths that he busted, which is perfectly fine. Select the repository from the Flutter organization, which has 33 repositories. That is true. And then find issues labeled easy fix or good first contribution, entertaining new contribution project, documentation, or API docs. Or take any issue you are comfortable fixing. That is very true. So this was what we did the last time. We searched for, or better, Ayush gave me that one, but I think he did the same more or less. You can search for the different labels. For example, inside of the GitHub repository labels, and can just pass them inside. So easy fix, good first contribution is the yellow one here. This is now a combination. Well, okay. So we can find here also like the milestones that the triage worker have given that that issue. So in that case, it's deprecated goals. And what this means is it is a stretched goal, which is not really necessary to do. And I think here's also the explanation for that. These are tasks we think are worth fixing in the coming years. It includes issues we have identified that might block fully shipping broadcast, correct issues, and bugs relating polish and quality. The date on this milestone is utterly arbitrary and just intended to sort the milestones appropriately. So this means for us, this is like a bucket list for all the stuff that should be fixed, but is not so important to fix it immediately. So we can take that fix, maybe. Let's have a look. We can see it is in the toolchain. Running the tools with verbose mode logging enabled should pass the verbose logging flag. Okay, this enables logging at severity level in the engine. By default, logging is only enabled in error and fatal levels. Okay. Looks like this was implemented already, so there is a PR that implemented it and reverted it again. So there seems to be a problem. Update Dart SDK SH does not handle spaces and paths well. Okay, fixed in. So now it starts. Now we have to read through the documentation, of course, and have to read where comes the error from, is there, and understand the history. And this is always a bit a lot of work and a bit of hassle at the end. But I think this would be an issue that we could solve. And the funny thing is, it would be part of the tool chain, which would be very interesting for me. What do you think? Should we tackle that one, or do you have another issue in mind that we could do? Or should we search further? So you are more interested in the framework rather than the engine? Okay, in the meantime, I just check out what happened here and hopefully I find a merge. Yep, here, roll engine in. So what do we have here? Wow. So there has a lot of stuff changed, but I think nothing has to do with the change that is written here. Running the tool with verbose mode logging enabled should pass the verbose logging flag. The problem here is that I really don't know where to start actually. I really hope that this one would be a more informative. If we fix this one not to break, okay. Okay, so this one didn't do anything. Okay, so I decide for another issue at the moment, but what I would like to do is at least giving a comment that someone could give me a better hint here that we find maybe a solution in the future. What exactly needs to be done for this issue? Current interest. So this is a merge request, right? So revert only make error fatal log, okay. And reverts the commit of this one. Fantastic. But why has it been reverted? Okay, so we have the changes here. Maybe we can even work on that. So we have that. It's in a part of the engine in that case. Okay, so this means that this part wouldn't even help us so much, because now we need Visual Studio Code, because the engine is written in C++, and I think we can't work there with the IntelliJ. So let's hop into the engine source and let's have a look how we can update there everything. I think for that we go into the Flutter project. Are we already? No. So we can go cd flutter. I think here we have to first update the upstream. Let's go to the contributing guidelines once more. And searching for the engine. So what do we have here? I think down here we have some editor information, so we need the C and C++ extension. So let's open up in the build Flutter. And let's get this C++ engine, C++ extension. Oh, we have that already. Perfect. Good. Now we get a lot of info. Now I close it off. But what I actually want is, now we are in the Flutter repository, right? And here we have two branches. And I need a terminal to get the upstream again, to update the upstream. Where's that declared? I think here in the compiling the engine. Exactly, so we get the upstream again, and after that we call again gc client sync. So I will add. And I think most likely I have to go one level higher and then g client sync. And from experience from the last time, this could really take a while, so let's hope that it's fast this time. So it's getting now all the newest information from the clients, from the engine, and hooks everything up. So that should work. And after that we can prepare our build files. Okay. This is for Android. Don't even know if I need that actually. Okay, but we have the files that has changed, right? The asset manager CC. So the question is, why has it been reverted? Is there any information? Revert only, make sure, huh? Shouldn't be there a pull request if there has changed something like that? I assume there needs to be a pull request for this. Okay, so it was not the only thing that has gotten reverted? Start revision. Yes, there. I get right now the information that I'm not connected to the chat, so just have to check. Do you get this information? I hope so. I have some problems with the streams, it seems. What is that now? No, here's everything fine. Weird. Okay, well, I still hope that everything works out at the end. If you can't hear me or anything else is broken, please let me know. Okay, so we are still in the engine. Compiling the engine, alright. Easy client, we get the compiling of iOS. Okay, with that we can all compile all the different parts, that's fine. For web on Windows and compiling issues. Okay, but do we really want to compile at the moment? I really just want to understand what exactly we have to fix, right? So what I would like to do is searching for that assets messenger for now. Inside of here. Has been done, and now I think we search for that file. Copy. Perfect. Insider's version. Yeah, sure. And now we can also check where it is, right? So line 50 in that case. Line 50 is an asset resolver. It's completely simple. This FML log maybe? But this has changed, so it is actually there. Okay, what I will do is asking the question here inside. Because it looks like it is already inside. Just have a look into the settings age. Or better in the shell CC, because there has changed something. So shell.cc and shell common. Fantastic. And here we search for the line 153. Or better, let's search for this parts. Nothing inside. Okay, so this part is most likely missing. Minlog level, verbose, error. They're not a test, maybe this is the problem why it's getting reverted. Question is, how would I test something like that, and how would I even create it? How I would start to develop an engine? Is there anything? So we set it all this up, but how can I start now developing an engine? Is there inside of the wiki something? So design documents, debugging broken engine outro, engineer philosophy. Threading in engine. Its own thread. Instead it's written create manage threads and their message loop. Okay. It's not necessarily that what I need. So setting up that we have done, compiled. I think I have done that once. So we should have now an out folder somewhere. Common shell, so there should be. I think that is one level up. So if I'm going into the terminal and go one level higher, we will find here an out file, and here inside, yeah, so you can see I also created that once. No, okay, so I still can't see the chat. I'm sorry for that. I don't really know why. Let me have a look. Maybe I can. Here everyone is writing. Jeez, hey everyone. Sorry, couldn't see the chat. Thank you, Mino, for letting me know. So where are we? So Stefan was writing, hey, hope you are well. Now I can read everyone. Sorry for that. Hey. So, okay, thank you for a PR video. Cool, that is fantastic. Very happy that Hansan Tai made it and pushed his first PR. Hey Rob, nice to see you. Yes, I have no idea. I have no idea what he is doing. Yeah, so I can maybe explain what I'm doing. You know the Flutter repository, the big one, where everyone plays in Flutter. And I currently try to land some PRs on that. So I have no experience with the Flutter repository. I try to understand it. And the Flutter repository is divided by two big chunks, more or less. The Flutter itself, and if you jump here in the Flutter company, more or less, you can see all the different repositories that they provide. So they are currently 33 of them. And you can, because it is open source, we all can contribute to them. So that means we can just jump in one of them and help to fix some bugs or problems with them. And as you maybe know, that the Flutter repository itself contains all the issues. So all 30, I don't know if it's all 33, but I know that for example, the Flutter engine, so the underlying baseline of it, is part of that issue list, and also the Flutter repository itself. So, and we did the last couple of weeks always a track where we just started to work on that, and I could really land a PR on that whole thing. So we managed it to be part of the Flutter repository and really wrote something inside of the code of Flutter to help the Flutter community at the end. And now my idea is to go further with that. So Ayunj was giving me the last time an issue, just one, and now I just want to find my own one that I can work on and that we can fix the next time. The problem is that the Flutter framework itself, the top part, is pretty easy to understand, pretty easy to work on, but it is way harder to learn and put something in the engine level. And what I wanted to do is just finding something that I can work on next, so that we can improve together the Flutter engine, or to improve anything in the Flutter repository actually. So it is not too high. I just try to start, and because I couldn't see the chat, I couldn't explain anything, so sorry for that. That was a bit weird. I'm even on YouTube and couldn't see it. Very weird. But I got the message that the chat is not connected, so maybe I should have taken a bit more serious. Alright, so that's the idea. But as you see, it is not anymore Dart, and you already mentioned it, it's a bit too high level even for me, because everything inside of the engine is C++. So I can maybe show the image once more that I've seen seconds ago. I think here. So where is it? Here. So this is the Flutter system overview, right? So this is how the Flutter framework completely looks like. On the website you can't see me live, really? That is pretty horrible. I don't know what's wrong today. It looks like the complete connection completely broken somehow. Oh well, there's better things. Don't know what happened here, but that's alright. Hi James! Thank you for your tip again for the Dart cones. Really appreciated that. I still work on that, and it looks pretty promising at the moment. But at the last time I just fixed a bug where we had problems with the Windows and iOS machines, but that should work now fine. So yeah, so my idea is to bring another PR in the Flutter repository. And I don't know if you have ever seen that, but the Flutter framework exists out of these three big layers, more or less. So the embedded platform specifics, these are the things that are lying in Android, iOS, and so on, and the macOS, web, and so on and so forth. So this is the part that you have to write if you want to bring the Flutter part inside of the device itself. On top of that, there is a layer called the engine, which is usually the harder part to work in Flutter, which contains all the cool things like service protocol, Dart isolate setup. So if you want to change something there, you go to the engine. So this is the hard stuff usually. So C++ and C, where you have pipelines, asset resolution, and all that stuff. So it's pretty deep dive into technology. And what you want to do is writing an interop. So interop is like a translator that uses Dart code, or that your Dart code can communicate with the device and executes device internal stuff. And because this is always a bit more difficult, this is called the engine, and usually all engine flags, so if you go to the issues on Flutter and you are searching for the labels give you an indicator where you want to work in. So for example, you have the framework label. That means you are working on the first layer. So this part. And this part is usually the part that we all know, right? It is Dart, it's our material things, our Kubernetes widgets, how they are rendered. It's going down to painting, and on the baseline, it's the foundation. So like the canvas, for example, or navigation or something like that. So all these parts are from the framework itself, and because we see that and we have a way easier access to it, it's usually easier to understand. And what I did is, first of this stream, I started by looking into the contribution website, so contributing to Flutter, that's created from Ayush. And he just wrote down what you have to know, where you can start to contribute to Flutter project, that you don't have to be a pro to land a PR, because actually nobody is, because you have to start somewhere. And it's pretty difficult at the beginning. And he makes some myth busting, like for example here, open source contribution is hard. Well, not necessarily. It just takes some time to get into it, and especially you have to take the time to read the documentation carefully. Because what I have seen a lot from the PRs that have been closed without getting merged, that for example tests were missing. That for example the documentation was written, but there was not enough information for it. And so on and so forth. So you will get a lot of information there. And the good thing is, if you start to read documentation, if you really want to land the PR, then you have to not to be afraid, because everyone in the repository is helping you. If you remember, or if you have not seen it, I can just jump into the last PR that we finished off together. There you can see a lot of fantastic people who are helped me where I created this constructor. First of all, everyone that was in the chat, because there we worked together. And after that, you just go one line by one, more or less, through this documentation. You get some information from, for example, Hans Muller, who gave me some information like this line is not necessary, or a better information and documentation. So they give you more recommendations, less than shouting you or saying something bad about you. It's not having something to do with that. And at the end I made a big mistake, so that's why all that stuff is here inside. So if you want, you can take a look into the other stream. It was pretty funny because I destroyed nearly the whole PR. And after that I managed it to revert everything. I overwritten the stuff from Hans, unfortunately. But what I did is, now when it's done, we had some tests in place, we wrote the CLI, we had all the different parts that up here are declared, ready and go. And with that, we were able to merge our PR. Is Flutter or Google making a contribution? To whom make contribution to enhance Flutter? Well, yes, as you can see, Google is like the baker of Flutter. That means they support and work the most on the Flutter repository, actually. So if we take a look into the insights, there you will see that the documentation is mostly driven by Google people. And the good thing is that they also keep aligned all the open source work that is done. So that means tooling, project planning, and so on and so forth. I think even for triage work, and triage work is all these nice little flags and requests and talking about are all done by a team that is at least, I think Google, how do you cooperate? I think with Nevercode for this. So for example, the P3 and so on create people like Tahar, who are fantastic people who are making the code triage here. They are jumping into the different parts of this project and asking questions to the customers, so us as developers. Hey, could you reproduce this problem, or could you give us more information? So this is this in triage play button. And so all of this stuff is baked by Google, and so they will also support the contribution and enhance Flutter even further. But that doesn't mean that we can't help them. And also it is good for our visibility. It is good for our learning process, because even though if we are not perfect developers, we will get better when we see good code. If we get feedback from professional developers, like for example, Andrew Brockton, for example, or someone who is already very deep inside of these. And you are not, and because Google is working on these projects, you will get also feedback from the most professional developers in the world, right? Because Google is a very big company with a lot of smart people. And so I highly recommend you to also try it yourself, because you will not lose anything. You just gain something, even though it is very intimidating in the beginning. I can understand that, but give it a shot. You will not make a mistake, especially if you search for labels like easy fix. Or what I really like is, for example, documentation flags, so you can write some documentation, or yeah, something like that. And this should be helpful at least. What I would like, or what I would suggest you if you are starting and you search for your very first PR to land, don't go right away into the engine. It's really something completely different. And you see, even myself, that I started today with my live stream for myself, more or less. It's very intimidating, and there is no clear guideline so far, or not that I could see that, how to start an engine. So I will maybe also skip that for today and search for the future how I can really do that. Maybe write some documentation in the contribution so that we have like a guideline. Okay, if you want to work in the engine, you don't have to only compile it, you have to work like this step by step, so that you know how to get there into. Because at the moment I don't really see that. Maybe I just didn't have seen it yet. Ayush? Yeah, sure, for sure. It's a very good article, and I think you also have created a PR for that, so of course I mention it. It's now soon part of the Flutter contribution here. And welcome to the Flutter community. So, cool. Okay, but anyhow, let's try to find an issue that I can actually work on, that it's not getting boring today. So let's search for easy fix, and let's search if I can also add something like, instead of tooling, I'm just searching for framework. I think that would be a bit more and easier to understand for myself. So this is a milestone that looks good. 25 days ago. I think I can work on that. So plugins that use platform views on Android should have the minimum SDK version 19. If using hybrid composition, or min SDK version 20 if using virtual displays. Otherwise, runtime exception will occur. I noted we don't set the SDK version in plugins web view. Okay. It seems there are already 2 PRs open, so I think there is already someone working on. And you can see it is also assigned, so CG020 will work on that. So I think I can close that off, so someone else is working already on that. I think it's because of the scrolling that... Okay, this means assigned, good to know. So then we have 2 again deprecated. I don't know if we want to fix them or if it is even necessary. I don't know. I'll have a look if we find something inside. Okay, so a very big stack trace. Severe crash, easy fix, framework, debugging, error message. Okay. Milestone 25 of March, alright. That's a crazy information that I see here. The material app itself consists out of 60 widgets. Elite layout of proxy boxes from stack. Not really helpful, or is it clear for everyone what we should do? If I read that, there is no explanation. It's a bit... So I will add Hixie here, and what I will like asking is, what is wrong? What, something is crashing? Perform layout? Proxy box rendering. Is that a word, Elite? Never hear that. Remove, connect. Okay. It's a bit tricky if you have such PR issues that there is a missing explanation for that. Layout of proxy boxes from stacks. So what does that is also something that I highly recommend, even though if you don't understand really a problem or you really want to work on something, if you would ask the question, because even this is work that you do for the contribution, because maybe already 300 people before me have started to look into that issue and had the same problem, that they don't really understand what is the problem or how they can fix it. Exactly, how to be fixed. But if you don't get a message or you don't understand it, just ask. In the worst case, you get like, we don't need it anymore, or it can be closed or something. In which PR was added is now deprecated. Okay, so that means if deprecated are needed to be fixed, but the project in which PR was added is now... okay, so... But still the issue needs to be fixed, right? Even though that it is inside of a deprecated milestone. Like here. In any case, I will ask Hixie here. So in the best case, we really receive an answer so that I can start on that issue maybe the next week. Is that a good English that I wrote? Let's see. Looking good. That's fine. I'll live with that. So, and I will comment here. Maybe I will also add Tony, because he is also writing something. Or do I have to even add them? I don't know. Maybe it's not even worth, but yeah, I will add them. Let's see if I get some response here. So in the meantime, because I think we will not get an answer in the next 5 seconds, I will just search for the next PR issue that we can work on. So, and even this is now a contribution to the GitHub repository, right? Because even this is called triage work, because we're asking for more information, we're asking for clarification in problems. And yeah, so we are also taking the next step here. So this is a code lab error. Label proposal. What is the proposal label for? Let's have a look. So we jump into the proposal label. And what do we get here? Oh, I think you get somewhere more information about a label. It's up here, I think. Proposal. A detailed proposal for change to Flutter. Okay. So with proposals we have more information about the PR. Is that right? Okay, so let's have a look. So I will also take the easy fix still, because yeah, it's my second PR, so I don't want to get too high. Fix. Okay. That should be possible, but there is already a linked PR, but that doesn't mean anything. So just because there is a PR linked, that doesn't mean that there is already a fix for it. Because as I said, most or a lot of times people try to fix a PR, open it up, and then they get the message, oh, sorry, this is not working correctly. Or there are missing tests, could you provide tests or something like that. So also someone who forced push, that's interesting. It seems are more clear than Android info string and iOS info string. Are they better? So pending reviewers, okay. How does it look like on the 6th of May? And since then nothing happened, or 2 days ago? Looks like a fix and it's still open, so hopefully there is already someone working on. All right. So here we can do also something else. We can sort like newest, oldest comments and so on. I usually look for the most upvotes. And what do we get here? There is everything like P4, fidelity, easy fix, gesture, proposal. Have a look. Make the drag gesture recognize start from the commit point, not the down point. Okay. If a drag gesture recognizer has to compete, then it will commit when the pointer is a different point and the gesture started. Currently we give drag deltas based on the delta from the original point. We should add a configuration option that allows the drag gesture deltas to be based on the commit point instead. And then we should default gesture detect this gesture recognizer to match the platform's behavior, which at least on Android is to use the commit point. Okay, that sounds like a bit more work, but that's fine. So Edman is looking into that. Is he assigned? No. Would be when we send on drag start. So as you can see, Edman made the same thing like myself seconds ago. He asked Hixie if he can clarify the whole thing, and with that it got a proposal, I think. Would be when the on drag start platform configuration in the widget layer looks like. Okay. Do we have a property to disable glow or change glow color on scroll view widgets? Should be easy to find out, or so we search for the scroll view in Flutter. Wait, this is wrong. One back. Here we go. The glow color. Okay, let's have a look. Scroll view is just an abstract class, right? But what do we see here? Physics, primary, shrink. Ah, all scrolling widgets. Okay. Good question. So I didn't even know that they have a glowing indicator, but what I see is glowing over scroll indicator here. Disallow glow. So there are some things that you can set actually. There seems to be the edge glow is the theme accent color. Created automatically. So there are some possibilities. I think you just have to read it. Is that also for you guys that the Dart console inside of the documentation is broken nearly everywhere? Silver fill remaining, yeah. So there seems to be something that you can fix with the scroll indicators. Okay, so in this case, same here. Okay, so what do we have here? We have related, okay. So it seems someone works on that. That's already something. Teach drag start behavior drag gesture recognizer. A lot of reviews. Okay, so I'm not the only one where the documentation is not working correctly. Maybe we should create a PR for that or an issue for that. Okay, but you see, this is mostly the work that we have to do, right? So you search for an issue, you read through it, you get all this understanding that you need at the end to understand the issue correct. But also here, I'm really not sure where to start actually. So we get the solution, but because there are already some, this one is closed, for example, it's not merged. So he had teach track. So this is the PR that he mentioned. The problem here is most likely, because it is just closed, it was not merged. So Hixie gave some okay. So outdated, outdated, outdated. Tests updated, okay. Needs love. Okay. Forced push, okay. Only after that. And no, Emily Fortuna is also part of that. Requested from Mr. Sullivan, okay. I can still take this, okay. September 2018. The website, I think it is flutterexplained.live, and the other one is miracledesign.de. You can just pass them inside the chat somewhere, maybe. And now the chat here is also working again. Hey, look at that, beautiful. So the Miracle Design one is our company website at the moment. You get an error, really? Today is a weird day. So I'm very sorry that we don't make the progress that I wanted to. So we have a proposal. So where have we been now? Here. No, each track. So closing in favor. Okay, so there is another one who's running that. There's a new PR for that, or mono drag. Okay, teach drag start behavior. You mean inside of the issues? Sure. So input decoration default icon color. That sounds like something I can fix. Should I add a label for it, or? I know there was it. I saw it. The second when it was over, I saw it. Input decoration default icon color. 6, 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was it right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah no, this one, expose input decorator. Alright. So we have a proposal, text input, material design. Thank you, Ayush. It's always good to have you. So it is not possible to set the default color of the icon on the input decoration when the text form field doesn't have the focus. It just returns a predefined constant according to the brightness of the theme. Some changes might be added due to make it possible to define the color scheme based on the input state. Default color of the icon on input decoration when the text form field doesn't have this focus. It just returns a predefined constant according to brightness of the theme. Okay. So this color is always getting returned and used inside of the input decorator, and they want to make it possible to use a default, their own one. So it is again a problem with the constructor, I think, and also with the changing to bring it up. That sounds like a perfect issue for me that I can work on. So the first thing I will do is no worries, that's all good, Stefan. I'm happy that it works because it's always a bit problematic with that stuff. I would like to take this PR and fix the issue. Comment, and now we are working on that. So the cool thing is we know it's in the framework, we know it's text input, we have no knowledge that it's the input decorator, and all of these information make it pretty easy for us that we can start up our IntelliJ again. And because we updated in the beginning of the project already the project, the Flutter project itself, we are now ready to go. So now we have it pretty easy because we can fetch again, new. So fetch means we get the metadata, we inform ourselves what we can work on. And now what we will do is, like we did the last time, we create a new branch. RN, there is no way to change the icon color. You can only change it through theme, but not property. Yes, but I think we want to have a property, right? If I have understood that correctly. On the input state, some changes might be added due to make it possible to define the color. So what I would like to start with is maybe creating a basic project where I just use the default color. So just to rebuild this problem more or less for myself. And after that we can fix it, right? So for now it is possible to set the default color of the icon on the input decoration when the text form field doesn't have the focus. Okay, so it means we can set the value for everything that is not the focus. And then the brightness of the theme. And depending on the brightness of the theme, we receive the white 70 or black 45. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so, right? And what we would like to do is like something, change it to that color on focus, on error, and on what is the last thing? Not disabled maybe, and not focused. I think on input decorator we will have multiple parts that we have there. So what I mean is maybe I do that in the first place. We just start a new or getting our own project. Beautiful shared one. And here inside the main.dart we have now the option. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. But actually, it is just a plain project with some stuff inside. But what I will do is just creating a new file. Homepage.dart. And here we have a stateless widget. I get the material one. Replace that with the homepage. And now here inside we can have a container with a child, which is an, for example, a form input, right? Input decoration, so we can use any input, a text field, for example. And this has a decoration which gets an input decoration. So, and the question is now, can we change the icon color, right? So the icon we have currently only the possibility to pass down an icon itself. So icons, no, icon. Exactly. So if we have here something like that, we can't change the color, right? So this one is, if I search for color, we have fill color, focus color, and hover color, but all of them are more for the border, I think. But to check that out, I will maybe create this project and start it up, just in case. We remove all that stuff, I think. Anyway, not more, any more necessary. Move, move, move. Fantastic. Just to keep the basics here. Now my demo project that I always use, so sorry. So let's use iOS emulator for this today. I think it's a bit faster. So exactly, and then because I think we can set the color on the icon though. Is this changing? But that would change it for all times, right? So it would be always red, most likely overwritten it completely. So we have to take a look there. Step. But I think that's a perfect scenario again. Thank you, Ayush. How do you get all these things? Do you just read through them like I did, or do you don't search, or do you search for more labels? Is it more than just easy fix? Input decoration default. In the meantime, this is starting up. Take a while. I take a sip of tea. Finally, here we go, and press the start button. I just want to see once more how exactly the input decoration behaves before I just start making changes to it. No worries, Rob. I'm really looking forward to see your PRs. I hope I get added, so just make an add to it and then I can take a look into it. I mean, we have all to start somewhere, right? And as you see, to start with an issue, the biggest issue is already to find a good one. After that, to take it, to really set up everything correctly, to read the documentation. For my problem the first time was that we don't use Dart FMT, so make sure that you don't use Dart FMT, which is the code styling. So I always press the command option L all the time, so it is like in my blood already as a standard behavior. And with that I already reformat the Flutter repository, and people don't like that. Ah, all right. Oh, so I fix now your your issues that you used for yourself. I'm sorry for that. Hey, Xaxa, nice to see you. How are you doing? Sorry that our website is not with Flutter written yet, but it was still in beta, and we have some issues with the image rotation, which still blocks me a little bit. I would love to create a CMS system more or less with the I think there was a headless CMS that has a very interesting package on Flutter. So I wanted to start with that first. But to create all the plugins that WordPress has already in place, we decided to not do it. That is true, Ayush. But I think that is always the case, right? If you understand the problem easy, or if you understand the problem completely, then it's mostly an easy fix. But I like this proposal flag. I think that is something that I really have to keep in mind and have to take a bit more look into it, so that there is already like a recommendation how to fix it at the end. So this can be gone, this stays open. The engine I want to take a look into. I think there are enough, right? Over 7,000 issues we are currently, so there is still enough to do for all of us. Why is that so slow today? That's interesting. Maybe I should really take the other one. Let's kill that. It's too slow. Let's take Android. Maybe a bit slower, but... What is... the emulator's on the wrong screen. Alright. Here we go. Number 1. And now restart everything. And I think we can put that on top, right? So it's already. Yeah, I'm working on 2 personal projects at the moment that takes a lot of time. The one is the Firebase Core subgradle. Okay, I don't think I have so much here. Maybe I have. Yeah, 2 personal projects. One is an electric calculator app that I published on the App Store right now, but it's like on beta status. Play Store. Actually, it's pretty far already. The only problem that I see is with statistics. Electric. Oh, it's German, so Stromkosten. I think it's Stromkosten app or something. Don't know the exact name anymore. Here I am. So this is at the moment our one of my personal projects. It's more for myself because on the basement I always have to count the energy meters and to get the costs at the end of the year. And the other thing is a website that I'm currently working on with Flutter, and personal projects is the Dart coins, if you know them already. That's my Saturday project I'm working on. But I really love that, and I hope really that we get that better in the future. Go to GitHub. Because with the Dart coins, I hope that more people will understand how Dart is working, and then it's an easier way to learn more and more of that. And yeah, so this is a really cool project where I started with reflections and so on. So what is wrong here? The shrinker may optimize. I can't start an application. Is that now the final low of this day? Maybe I should take then a real device for the next time. Then I prepare everything with a mirror. I think that makes more sense. Just waiting here all the time. Sorry for that. So now the installing works, the app, all that looks good. Here we go. Oh, okay. So what's that? No material midget found. Okay, that's a good point. Let's wrap that in a scaffold. Body. I think with that he will be more happy. So fantastic. Let's center that text area. So, okay, so we see the icon, and as soon as I select most likely the input box, you see it's getting blue. If we would change the color here, so for example would say colors.red, it will be red, but it sticks with that color. So even if we lose the focus, it will be red. But this is not what we want. The idea is like we have the other colors inside of the decoration. I think the other colors are these fill color, focus color, and hover color, all important for the repository. So the fill color is set already. The question is now, do we want to have an own property like icon fill color so that the color of the icon can change differently than the text field? Or would we want to have the text field always the same color? So, because that would mean that we have these, I think there is focus color. If we change that, for example, to green, then with the icon color should change too, right? Was it focus color? Fill cover holog. Thought it was this. Oh. Check. So why is it now blue? I thought it should get overwritten or not. So not the focus color. Ah, the enabled. Was there not also something? Text style, fill color, fill boolean. What is the focus color? The focus color is based on the theme. Yeah, I think my website is completely broken, as more as I hear from it. I think the last time someone asked and he needed to donate twice or something, and after that it worked. A bit weird. I will write some support tickets for that. Okay, so we have that. And the focus color will not work at all. Ah, right. So we take a look into the code now. And here we will find most likely the icon theme data. And here is the icon color that is specified, right? So the icon color is focus, is active, but it always takes the get default icon color from the theme. And here we have the hard-coded switch between the two. So the idea would be to add for this input decorator.dart inside of these required parts, input decorator, there will be most likely an, yeah, something like that. What do we have here? Decoration, baseline, is focusing, is hovering, alright. The input decoration, where is it coming from? Create state, alright. There needs to be a fill color, right? Somewhere, so there it is. So collapsed, okay, there is a fill color, but where's the, up here. So we have the input decoration, this is the constructor. And we have, for example, the filled, fill color, focus color, hover color, for example. And one idea would be that we have then here this icon focus color, for example. Something like that. But what I don't understand is why it's now getting still blue. I think even the line underneath. Or do you think it is because of the icon? So if we remove the icon and have nothing? No, it's still blue, right? Oh, color. Focus color. For example, green color. And now it's green, but still blue. Thank you, Ayush. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I really have to understand how this is. Ah, focused border. I think that's the one. And then this is just a border that's getting color. That's the reason. All right, but anyhow, we want to change the icon. If we get an icon inside, we put icon, icons.something, AC unit, for example, and now we want to give that a color. So, and one idea would be that we have here a property called icon focus color, And this one should override it always on focus. I don't know if we... Yes, but it's not only because of the icon, it was just for the blue line underneath. I was not sure why it is blue still, but I think it's because of the border now, because this blue line is the border of the whole thing. So we would have default icon focus. I think, what do we have for colors? Fill, focus, and hover. And I think a icon hover color would be also good to add. And because the input decoration has multiple parts, right? Input decoration has a lot of different, like collapsed, and we will find most likely also a second one. We could even change the error color, or, I mean, how do we get the error? Input border, focus, error border. Okay, so yeah. Exactly. But for the icon, I don't know how many states we have. We have actually one that is hovered, right? If we move with the mouse over it, and one that is selected, that means focused. So let's jump into our project of Flutter. Window, terminate. We can close that one off, we don't need it. Because what I want to do now is I want to start up the emulator of Flutter, where we can then... Waiting for process detach, okay. That worked too. Alright, so we get all the dependencies, and here we search for the input decoration, right? Input decorator, that one. And what we can do is, if we need an example, we can check it out here, and most likely there will be also one with layers. We could search now one in the gallery where we find one with a text form field to work on, but I think that is I think we can directly work here. That should be fine in that case. So back to our done. Right, cool. So now where is my issue? Here we go. Okay, so now we want to change the input decoration in a way that we receive the different colors. So we go to the input decoration. Why don't I find it? Here we go, we'll jump inside. And now we are, where in our file patterns? Here we go. So input decorator, we find the input decoration. So and what we need now is inside of here we have a lot of merges, all right? Is it somewhere used? Maybe we find an example easier. Build colors, yeah. Collapsed is floating icon. Okay, so the icon is one of the first properties. So we would have here something like icon with naming. So icon focus color, right? And I think also an icon focus is one, and the other one would be hover, right? So, and now we have to add these two parameters as a field in our, so in the class input decoration. That's true. And I think down here, where do we find the other icon? For example, if I'm searching for the other color, suffix test, filled color, so like that. So it would look like this more or less. I'm not sure with the error color, because the problem is we don't really have here an error color. But I have the feeling that would be a good option at the end, because we have a lot of stylings here. But at the moment this is not done yet, I think. Or is the error icon color anyway always red? Is focus active color get default icon color? What is focus active color get active color? Alright, this comes from the brightness. Is that part? Get default icon color. If it is disabled, we get a disabled color. That makes sense, but even this we can't separate. Maybe we need even a disabled color. Theme data icon themed color. So we can take the icon decoration enabled is focused. Why is it not going away? Get fill color, alright. So, but here we go. So now we first have to declare anyway the two variables, and for that I think down here we have also, what is that? Is collapsed. Defines the input decorator as a size input. Okay, cool. That has nothing to do with it. But now we actually need two of this. So final color, add this, and here we can make a to-do, write documentation. Fantastic. And the second part would be where is it? Here, the icon hover color. So why I'm making myself to-dos here is because if I don't do it, I will miss that again, and I will never find this place again where I have to add them. So that's fantastic, but now you can see we get another problem because the collapse is not working anymore. Must be initialized by icon focus color. Yeah, so you can see down here that we initialize all these different values with null. So all the values that we don't need. So for example, if we don't have this icon focus color, for example, is of course at the beginning null. And the same thing is for the icon hover color. And I think I will also add myself a to-do up here. Icon error color. So I will make that with a question mark so that I will have to think about that once more. So you are right, Xaxa. Okay, so next steps. If we have these two, we can make here an enter. Fantastic. And now we want to solve this issue here. These are not used anywhere, right? So we have now two colors that we received, and icon color is here the default color, but only, so is focused and active color. We have here way more question marks, right? It's not only if it's focused, it would be if it's hovered, is it focused, and if it's an error in the worst case. At the moment, it's only differentiate between is focused and is hovered. Makes this sense? Yeah, I think so. So we get the active color. So is focused is true, we get the active color. Makes sense. So if it is false, we get the default color. Not necessarily. So the active get active color, and also this comes just from the int color. If is focused. Okay, I think we have to do it here. Set the right color for active. And the same thing for used here for the get default icon color. What would be the default icon color? Default icon color is not enabled and not focused. Then we have the disabled color. Okay, so we also need a icon disabled color, right? So we have 3 icon colors actually. Where are we? Here we go. So we have focus, we have hover. This would mean we have also a disabled color. And icon error color. I think I have to add that. I think it would look weird if I don't do it. Alright, so this is the part. We have to create 2 new parts. So I will take both lines here. No, this one. And create also these 2. Yep. That final color, giving this part inside. And also here I would add to do. Alright, documentation. Good. So there is more to do than just 1 or 2 things. And additionally, we have to write tests for all of them. Right. So it will be something that we will do over the next 2 weeks, I think. And in the collapse, we have, of course, to add the 2 variables once more. Voila. No. Okay. Get default color. So for active. So if it is focused, else we return the theme data hint color. You're very interested in test writing. Yeah, I wrote this, I read this the last time. A lot of people asking for test working. Maybe we should really take more deep dive inside of testing of Flutter applications, because I think the unit tests are pretty good and very solid, and also the test pump, the tests for widgets like widget testing and so on, also pretty interesting. Also with provider testing, so if you have state management in place with provider, then the provider testing is also pretty cool. It's worked pretty easy, interesting enough. Maybe I can make that as a Saturday stream, then we anyway have something to do there, and then can have there a deep dive. Or a Sunday stream, let's see. Okay, so if is focused, so we have a focused one, then we want to set our color. So if is focused, I think we would do like if focused. Perfect, I will write you then. And if the color that we receive, so icon focus. Oh, I don't have access to it? Oh, that's interesting. Why don't I have access to it? So we have this active color here. Icon color here and there. Okay. But why don't we have access to our parameters of the widget? It change input decorator state. Okay, so we are here in the state. This means we have this input decorator state field. Is hovering, expanding? So we go to decoration and then the color. So we have now the input colors for that. Okay, so it's the decoration image part. So if is focused and decoration icon focus color is not null, right? Then we do all that stuff. We would set the, what do we set? We return decoration dot icon focus color. Input part else here. This is not null. Return the decoration icon focus color. Else we return the hint color, and I think here we have to change something, because also here we have now the decoration dot hint color. Sorry, icon hint color. Or we have not. Okay, we don't have that yet. So the question is, do we need an icon hint color? I think so. Wow, that would really change a lot, I think. So set the right color for active is done now, because this should return the correct icon color. I think I could do that differently. I know, I think that's fine for that case. Or should I do it with a switch statement like we do down here? Nah, I don't like that. Okay, so what I most likely will do is icon... what was the arrow color, for example? Yep. So we would have maybe also an icon hint color. Now we would add that again as a string parameter down here. Fantastic. You think? But the hint color could be... Ah, yeah. But why is it then taking that from a theme? Because if I'm taking a look into the hint color, down here, it takes the theme data hint color. The color to use for hint text or placeholder text. So it is the hint color if you have like the text inside, right? If you have a gray color. So you could change that actually for the icon. Or at least the question is, why is it even there with that get active color? Is that used somewhere else? No. It's only used for the active color, and the active color is only used for the icon. So if we change it to the theme data, it should be customizable so that the user can change it to whatever he wants. So if the icon hint text color should be taken, is it even possible to have an icon with the hint color? I think it's always in focus. How was the example that we had? Could we see the other parts? I opened it very quickly in a new frame. Did I just see that right? I can even start it on Mac. I don't know. Not on the right channel for something like that. But it could be I think you are right. It could be. I'm not absolutely certain. Question is, can we even have a different color than the default color? But I think we can also change and override the other. So this is now the gray that we know, right? So this is now the placeholder. So if this decoration has a placeholder. Can we not add one? A label text is possible. A hint text, so hello world. So this is the hint text, right? So if we have not selected it, it's getting now the same color like that text here. And usually we want that, but can we change the hint color? No, right? We can just change the hint color text. So yes, I think we also want to have that color changeable. So it could be that I change my hint text, right? So if I have here hello world, and I change now the text style of that hint. So text style with colors red, for example. Then my icon will not change like that, right? I can't change the icon color then. Can I not do something like that? Let's see. I have a dependency to Flutter, right? So if I take a look into that, we have this dependency to the Flutter SDK. Can I not change that to the path that I want to have? Like I thought I can use the path. And if I would now start to say, please use the download pictures development and get the Flutter, where is it? How much stuff is going on here inside? So here, why is it so ugly? Okay, better. And would take this bin folder, right? So how do I get the path the easiest? The easiest way to get this is via the terminal, I think. So if I'm going to cd dev, cd flutter, cd bin, and now pwd, it's fantastic. And if I add now this path into it, it's not allowed. Is that part of the declaration? That would be fantastic if you can do something like that, that we say we want to use the SDK from that folder. On the other hand, can I not separate that in, wait, maybe, I think I can do that in this part here. Indeed, I can. So here we use this tool somewhere else. And if I would say now I want to use that out of development from Flutter bin, and I say okay, maybe I have to reduce. Oh. There it is, or not. No SDK found, but on the other hand, with that, he finds it. Okay, so with a bit of luck, we can even relate on our stuff. And that would mean that our changes would be right away here inside. So I can... Oh. Seems not to work like I expect. Yeah, on the other hand, it's not built, so how should it work? Makes no sense. Fantastic. Okay, I will add that now with the hint text. In the worst case, I get an information from someone in the Flutter team who sees that and says, no, it's not necessary. Now we can still do that. So I can hint color null return. Would be easier, we return just this, or else, and this is of course the decoration, like that. And with that we would override it with the hint color, and if this is null, we return this hint color. Should be fine. Okay. Next step. Okay, this is something else. Good, with this we have the active colors ready. Now the default icon colors. So the default icon color is exactly what I call the hint icon color, I think, or not? This is what you meant, or Baba? I think that is exactly the part that you wanted to fix here. So set the default icon color. Okay. The decoration is not enabled, and it is disabled. Then comes the disabled color. And I would say this is decoration, disabled color, or this one. Getting red, why? Get default icon because it has a return type of color. Perfect. The disabled border, what? Icon disabled color, yeah. So this is the disabled part, that should work. And now we switch depending on this theme brightness. And then we return one of these three icon colors. But we don't care, right? If we don't... Do we want to rely on the dark and light theme still? So that means if we have a dark theme, we maybe want to show a different color, icon color, standard color. I have not seen that yet somewhere, so that's a good question. I don't know. Most likely would work with the theme data then, right? So if I specify an icon color here, not sure about that. But what actually happens is the icon decoration dot icon color. So we have all of them. Hover, focus color would it be? And if it's null, we return this. So this would work, but for the other two, if we have different theme data, So we could do it like that, but we could also give more options, like that we say we have an icon focus color dark themed and light themed, but this would be too much, I think, right? So I would say in general, we would do something like this. Where is it solved in theme data dot? I hope that there is somewhere, so in the theme data dot brightness, right? So the icon color here, for example, in the bottom navigation is solved with the primary color or accent color. I think I don't need that here. It would be more one level higher, or not? On the other hand, no. Yeah, so instead of doing all of that, I would just do it in front of it. So that means, but if you set your icon color, then it's there. So I would create an if case here, decoration dot icon color, focus color in that case, would return, we would just return it. If it is not null, then we would return immediately decoration icon focus color. Good. So we would then say, no matter what, whenever we have an icon focus color set, we would ignore the switch case down here completely. I think that makes sense, or? we would not rely on anything and the stuff would work. So, but the icon color on an error I would like to test. How if I have an error, helper text, helper style, error max lines. So the question is the icon even changing on an error? And how can we find out that? This is a material component. So if we search for the material IO, which is the main theme of the material parts, here we will find, for example, how icons will behave. And for myself, I'm searching now for a component in that area. And we are searching for a text form. Form field. Text field down here maybe. Yeah. So text field with icon. Here, icon, label. Okay, so here is it outside and inside. Text, input text, error text. Okay. So the icon is getting red inside. So I think we should give an error somehow. But how do we find out if we are in an error state? This is the next question. So get error style, helper error. Boolean is error. Decoration error text, decoration error border. Focus error border. So the icon color is not changing on an error at the moment, is that correct? Yeah, this is the only things that are happening during an error here. Int, null, anatomy, final. Here's it getting built. So here's the widget container, the animated opacity, the text, some FX text, center widget, icon theme merge, and here comes the icon color into place. So we have more than this, right? Is the error even a problem at the moment? I would say yes, but I think it is not a problem regarding to this issue here. And to keep it a bit smaller, I would not add that yet. I would create a different issue with that, I think. So if we are searching for input decorator icon error, do we find something? No, not necessarily. Okay, let's have another look into our problem in our shared preferences here, because my idea is now that we say, for example, we create a validator quickly, not in here in the validator. Now I need a text form field, I think. So we have a validator, return an. Yeah, but this is a problem or not? Because if I take a look into the material part here, we can actually see that if an error message appears, the label and the icon is also getting red, right? With that, this would mean that we are not aligned with the material description. Okay, but this is an issue actually. Then I would say we create an issue for that, because that is something completely mandatory, I think. So if we have here an error, could make an if, I don't know. I think here comes a value back. So if the value is null, we return error, else we return null. So, and this would mean whenever I clean here, this is fine. And I need to add the auto validate to true. If I add now something and remove it again. Ah, doesn't work like that. Okay. That's always something, sure. So now we come into error state and the icon is not changing at all. All right, that's interesting. So we have is on focus, but this would mean that the error message is for now obsolete, right? Icon error color would go then. The disabled color is in use, I think. And now I think I destroyed it somehow. You are gone and the color is also gone. At least for now. And the others are all in use, right? Icon focus color. Document, or yeah, we will do. Just add that for now, that it's not anymore red. Okay. But this icon focus color is used, yes. The icon hover color is actually not used. So the question is now, is hover? Is hovering, okay, so we check that, but we don't use that for our icon, right? We have is active, and if it is active, we get the active color, which comes from here. The active color is separated, okay. And if it is if it's not focused, then we get the default icon color, which is disabled, or icon focus color? No, we get the different. We don't get the icon focus color, right? How should it be anyway? So is focused get default icon color. And here we return the icon focus color, which is not correct. This would be the hover color. Icon color. I think that makes more sense. I think that is correct. So the icon focus color is getting returned. We have to check for that. So active color is on focus. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, but now back to our starting point where we wanted to go into. Icon focus color, for example. So we search once more for that, and we see we have 3. So if you take a look here, we have 3 of 5 findings, so it is used. Same for the hover color. Disabled color is also once used, which makes sense. This is the part where we have the disabled part. And the hint color is 3 times there, so we don't use that at the moment. We use it also here at that part, so that should be fine for now. Okay, so the next step is to write documentation or write the tests. What are you more interested in? What should we start with? Fixing the input decoration. What is missing here? Icon hint color. Of course, the icon hint color is null. Now, should I make a voting for that? And I can go to the bathroom shortly. I think that sounds like a good idea. So let's make a voting. It here. All. Testing, command test, and the other one is, let me think, it's testing, and the other one would be, what is the other one? Hey, thank you, Stefan. You managed it even with a bugged website. Thank you, Stefan. It's fantastic to have you. So testing, and the other one was, what did I say? Ah, yeah, documentation. Yeah, it sounds more fun, but you know, also necessary. Okay, I'm away for a second, and we will see us in maybe 5 minutes. All right, so here I am back. So, thank you once again, Stefan. Fantastic. I'm happy that the donation part is working again. If it's not working, it would be fantastic if you can send me a screenshot or something by Twitter. I can have a look. Okay, so I see test, test, test. Let's check out how the result is going. Yep, 3 votes, 3 times testing. Perfect. So let's start with testing 5 times. All right. So, where are we testing? We want to write tests. Fantastic. First, let's have a look if this thing is even tested. So I make Command-Shift-T. And with Command-Shift-T, you are jumping inside of IntelliJ, for example, between the 2 files. So here and back and forth and back and forth. And that's pretty cool. And now what we will do is we just read quickly. And as you see, it's already a very big file with a lot of stuff. So what I do is just run the tests, how they are at the moment. So because we didn't change any features, we just added them, usually the test should run fine. But this is exactly what we don't want, because we want to fix some problems, right? So let's have a look. Pub.get. So fantastic. We have 96 different tests in place. And the cool thing about these tests are that they are pushing already everything that we need. So as you can see up here, we have this build input decorator, which returns a widget, which then has a theme. The theme has some information, like input decoration theme, for example. And then down here, the input decorator is used for the directionality. Okay, interesting. So it's focused, is hovering, gets all the information, and most likely the tests themselves will just use these parts. So where do we find it? Input label layout. Okay, so we have an asynchronous test which pumps a widget inside, so inside of the tester, and that creates us the build input decorator. And with that, we can have the decoration, in this case a label. And this pump widget, if you have never seen that, it creates us really that widget tree. So one-to-one. So it really takes everything that comes from build input decorator, so that whole material app here, so everything inside, and builds that in a widget tree, in a like fake widget tree that we can use to test our stuff. And the cool thing that is coming now is this tester part here. If you take a look, the tester is coming into the test and called widget tester. And with that, we can now ask for different things of this widget. For example, the size of it. And then we need something called a find or a finder. And these common finders can be used for example, to get a certain widget from the widget tree by, for example, type in that case. And then we can check, okay, how big is that actually, that input decorator at the moment? Okay, and we find out it is 800 pixels width and 65 pixels height. And that's pretty cool, because that works also with the top left, with top right, and so on and so forth. And we can test all these different things and get our result from it, which is fantastic. And you can already see someone made the effort to give us all the different pixels that we test here with some explanation where it comes from. So the overall height for the input decorator is 65 dps, which we find here. And then he tests all the different parts here too. So top padding, if we search for top left, we find 12 pixels. And so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. And with that, we are sure how it works. Label appears. Okay, so these are all label tests. So do we have tests for icons? Let's have a look. Icon prefix and suffix. All right. So here we will find all the tests regarding to icons, most likely. And I see down here is also another thing. So what is that? Just a second. All right. So we have the input decoration here with debug describe children. Okay, this is something else, I think. What do we have down here? We have an icon in place. Input decorator outline label, focused label with icon. Okay, but it sounds like none of these tests is completely related to our issue with the colors, right? No worries, Stefan. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining today. It was fantastic. So, on the other hand, this test with the input decorator reduce theme visual density. Okay, now this is a test where it tries to use this visual density information. And what we need is actually something else. All right. So how can we do that? The easiest way, I think it is related to the icons. That's the first thing. So what I will do is I will search the end of that. and add a new test widgets. And now we write what we want to test for that. So the input, the icon, is it only for text fields? Yes, right? No, it's for every text form fields. When haven't the focus. But actually it will change whenever the input decoration is used, right? So whenever there is an input decoration with an icon, interesting. So there is a prefix icon constraints. I didn't check that. Maybe we, instead of using a general color, because we could have a prefixed and suffixed icon, we should have maybe like a class for these two, like an own input class. Input decoration? Or am I wrong? Where is this? Ah, here we have the suffix icon. So it would be maybe better that we have an object for that. Oof. Wait. So we have a default icon. Okay, I don't know that yet, but what I will do is I stick with the test here, and I will call that for the icon itself. And when there are coming some questions back from the PR, we can work on them. All right, so input decorator should take icon colors into account. Okay, so these test widgets, if you have never worked with tests, actually, test widgets is just a helper method that allows to test widgets inside of the widget tree. So this is where you get these tester from here. So we take that, call it async, and now we give the function body. And now we are ready to test our widgets. Okay, so we await that our tester gets pumped the widget. So, and the question is now which widget actually. So the good thing is, thanks to that input decorator build that we can have a look into again, we have a material app material with a builder where a theme is surrounded, and then we have the input decorator somewhere in a text, I think. So, or just like that. And now the good thing is, if we use that, we have the option, as you can see down here, that we can pass a decoration inside of it. So if we take a look here, we override this decoration here. And where is it used? Input. It is used down in the input decorator. Okay. So for us, this means we wait for that. We use this build input decorator. And we pass down a decoration, which is an input decoration. And now for our tests, it is very important that we have an icon. So icons.pages, for example, and then the icon color. So, and we start with the focus color, I think, because it will be the easiest to test. Const color 0xf, and I do make the color at the moment just black, I think. Why is it yellow? Avoid const keyword. Alright. So if we avoid that, we do that. Ah, that's already const, so that's why. Okay, so that means we have already the color, we have the icon. Is there anything else we need? I don't think so. And now we have to write our test. So we expect something. We use the tester to get the size, not really. And then we can use the find to find the input decorator. That's a good question now. How can we find? We have to find the icon itself and then check the icon color, I think. And if the icon color is black when we focus the input decoration, then we are fine. The question is, how can we test against the focus part? All right. So fantastic. We can just give that inside of the input decorator. Where's now our test? Here. What I also will do is add here a to do, and with what was it? Command Shift 1, I think, or Shift 1, Control 1, Option 1. No. All right. I thought you can add here, like inside of that, a set bookmark. Oh, F3 is it? Okay, so F3, and with that bookmark, I can now jump to that back again. Okay. So now we have the icon. Now we can find, for example, by type and ask for the icon. And of course, we search for the tester dot first widget, any widget. I think the first widget from the type find by type. Now we have our icon, right? And now we have to expect something. So we expect that this icon, and we don't really search the we search the color, right? So that would be maybe better. Maybe you can color, no, get rect, bottom center, bottom get size. Okay. Unfortunately, this one doesn't receive us the color of that icon. So what I will do now, because I don't know it either, I just search for it. So test widget, Flutter, get color. Press find by. No. So background decoration, first widget container. As container, background decoration. So he gets a container, asks for the decoration, and asks for the color. Container by color finder. Tester first widget find by type as container. So we found our icon already, right? No, not fine. What is it? First widget with the type icon. Create element, no. So we have the first widget by type, and then we say as type, so as icon, for example. And on that icon, can we get the color now? And this should match with the icon color. Okay. So what we can do is writing an expect here, adding all that part inside. This is that part. What color? And now we can expect that this is color 0xFF, and then we make it black, right? So the only problem that could happen is that this is, sure, we make that a const. The only problem that could happen is that this color could now by accident be exactly black. That would be unlucky. So what I will do is I just add a random number so that we are sure this is our color. Okay, let's see if this works. Really looking forward to it. But we got the color, we checked it against this color, and they should be exactly the same. Okay, they are not. So the actual color is null. Oh, that's interesting. So that is null. Could we even find the icon here? We have down here also some icon tests, right? So let's have a look if we find something. Find by icon. Okay. Can I do the same by icon and then don't give the icons.pages? And rerun? Ah, set focus to true. Such. Yeah, that was too easy. Where is it? Focus? No, it was on the build decoration, right? I think I saw that seconds ago. Thank you for that. Okay, but still null. The problem that I think why we get null is because the find by icon is returning us null. So this part here. So just for myself, I will create a var here. Test is that one, and we get that as icon. Which is wrong because find by icon first widget. Let's see. Isn't INR supported in donation? I have no idea, Mino, but thank you so much that you try, really. So, and I'm pretty sure this will fail. As an alternative, if this page is not working and you really want to help me, you can still try to buy me a coffee thing. Where Machtab and I are. Okay, it's well green, that's fine. So we have an icon data and we have an icon, but it doesn't have a color. Is empty, is focused, is hovering. So did our input decoration not working? Icon hover, icon focus. So we have the icon focus color. And we set that here. But it seems that it doesn't get any color now. Do we have a build function here inside? We have. With the custom painter, border, fill. Yeah, but I think that is not the case. Transform the child, okay. That's interesting. So we still expect that this color here equal to our color. We receive null, so test color is null, which makes sense because from that what we have seen it is null. What is the parent widget? We make still here find by icon, but what do we get? It is the icon itself, which should be fine, right? So according to what I see here, our color is not set. Is there also on hover? So what happens on hover if we set the other color? So it seems that this icon that we search and receive, which has most likely, yeah, which is this part, somehow is not getting set. So the icon color, this part, is it possible that it's not set? Icon theme data, this color opacity size. Ah, wait. The icon error, hint color. We are in the test again. Okay, here, and we search for the icon hint color, for example. So this one is just where the data comes from. So now we are here. We're here. Now we are using it. I thought it would work. Where's this icon used? Decoration prefix icon, alright. Okay, that's too much, but if I search for icon color, we have that part, and it is used in all of these parts where we have a padding with the icon theme, and there we pass in the color inside. Padding with the edges, icon theme data. It's an icon theme data, yeah, but this is, and it has then the child decoration icon. Okay, so this part here. So what we search is not the decoration icon because it doesn't receive the color. It is the icon theme data surrounding the decoration icon that receives the icon color. Okay, so this helps us a lot because now we don't search for the icon, we search for the first widget, for the first type, and that name is icon theme data. And we can't search for the as icon as icon theme data, I think. And whoop, yeah, sure, that is an icon theme data. And now test color should be filled. Covering. Let's see. Still wrong? No element is the problem. Ah, this is just the data, right? So that would be icon theme in that area. But the icon theme don't has a color. What does the icon theme has? Data, and the data has then the color. It looks weird, but it makes sense, right? Because the widget that we want to tackle is not the icon itself. The icon itself is always itself. It doesn't get a color suddenly. It is the surrounding that gets the color, which is the icon theme. And the icon theme itself has something inside that calls data, which is then the icon theme data. And this actually contains then the color that we search. So if I'm searching and restarting the whole thing, okay, that's good. That's something new, but it's good actually, because now if we take a look into our runner, that means this icon color is something else. It is this color, wherever it comes from. And it is material color, primary value. So it seems that somewhere the default is still in use. The question here is now where it comes from. So if I'm jumping right away here inside, the icon color, so we have to figure out where this color comes from and what color that is actually. So I will make a bit space and search for that color. It is blue primary color. Okay, So it is the primary color of the Flutter framework. And that would mean maybe it's just a problem that we have hovering here at the moment. No, I don't. Should be right, but let's keep it with the focus. Maybe this is working. We make it to focused. Try it again. No, it's still getting overwritten. Wait. Did I? Yeah, I waited for the tester to pump, and this first widget is not. Yeah, that's fine. So it's still failing. We have that icon, decoration icon, and I really thought we override that here. Prefix icon, suffix icon, and I see right now that all the icons share their ability. So you see the suffix icon and the prefix icon are working exactly the same. So the icon theme merge the icon theme data with that, but it seems that the icon color is not taken into consideration. What does this merge return? A new widget. Creates an icon theme that controls the opacity size and descending widgets and merges into current icon theme, if any. What does it mean for us? So we have now this part. Decoration is an input decoration. Is there an icon decoration that I don't see? No. Is focused? Is here. Maybe I should get the icon with decoration icon. What would that mean? So that I ask for that input decoration and then ask for the decoration. And try that, yeah, why not? So we ask for the input decoration. And test would be having now the possibility of icon, right? The icon itself has no color, right? I could get the icon, but I don't get the color of the icon. Fortunate. That's a tricky one now. I don't really know why that shouldn't work. So once again, we have an icon theme. We merge it with data from the icon theme data. And in my opinion, this should do the trick actually. So we get this part, we get the icon theme, and now we test the icon theme for the color. But it's getting overwritten somewhere with wrong color. And the funny thing is that it's even the default one. So somewhere here inside primary, we have here the theme color. Get active color is focused. Decoration icon focus color is unequal to 0. Then we return this. So now what I will do is I create a breakpoint. and we'll run the test with the debugger on. So here we can start the debug. So we get some warnings, but that's fine. But more important is that we jump at this part where we... Okay, here we have a test failure. That's fantastic already. Decoration icon, cast it as an icon. Yeah, I can try that in a second. Just... Why is that not working even? Okay, that was weird. So you mean that I should give that a decoration? Search for the input decoration? But I think test icon is already an icon. No, it's just a widget, you are right. As icon. And yeah, give it a var test. Test2 maybe. And test2 dot color. Oh yeah, right. So this is something that I could test, alright. So let's try that. But I think it still has the same problem, because the color of the icon is not changing according to the stuff that I saw. We have no element. Huh? First widget, find by type, input decoration. Let's think about it. So we have a tester, we pump our widget, we get our widget, we make the focus color to true, we ask for the input decoration, which we have here in place, and hopefully we receive that also. So if I go here and print just the test, we should actually receive something. No. So this part is failing because he can't find anything, but that worked already or not? I'm searching for that input decorator now. But that makes no sense. This is the time where I'm thinking about reboot. Ah, okay. So it is green, of course, but we find the input decorator. That's something. And now the input decoration. Maybe I can't find it by type. Maybe by... What is there else? Element type widget. No, that's alright. So stick with by type. Is it a widget? Maybe I have to find something else. First element, first state. Maybe it's a first element in that case. Because I could imagine that the decoration is something else than the decorator. No. Alright. No idea. Really. And again, something completely new. Yeah, but it feels weird, or not? If I have the child now, then I would pass that into a decoration, input decoration. And then we have to get this part done as a part decoration, would be this. Then from the decoration, we would get to the icon, which we have to also pass into an icon. So icon equals this icon. And now asking for the color. So it feels interesting. Anna. Type text is not subtype of type. Ah, yeah. Unnecessary cast, that's perfect. All right. We receive null. Yeah, because I think if we don't take the icon here and we just take the decoration, which we are interested in, we receive the icon, but you see the input decoration don't even get the icon theme. Question is, where get we this icon theme from? And why is it not getting overwritten? Floating label behavior on auto. I don't even get the information if it's focused or not. How, if I just enter the test here, what do we get from that test? Is focus to true? Icon data. But I don't find, or I don't see it at least, the theme for the icon. Oh. So where is it coming from, bad guy? So we have the icon color, we override that, we use that in different places for this icon theme data. The question is, why does this part not contain it? It is a child of what? It is a child of constraint boxes. Ah, this is the suffix icon. Let's take this default one. So we have a constraint box somewhere with a center. This is the prefix icon. What? So we have the icon. And this widget icon, where is it used? Here for decorator. So what is the decorator now? Decorator render object widget from class decorator, which is internally used somewhere. And this uses then the decoration. Is focused. Okay, this is now. So it will be the child of the decorator. No, the icon of the decorator. So this means we have the input decorator, and I said right now that we have somewhere this icon. Sorry. Decoration, we take the decoration of that, get hover icon. Ah, wait a second. Where do I do that? I have this hint, icon hint color, right? So where do I change that? In the input decoration. No, that is fine, in my opinion. Wait, but interesting. When I take the input decoration and I find that via the test, right? So we had here the input decorator and searching for the decoration. Has been these two parameters set? This would be the next question. No. The icon path is set, but the other parts are not set. So even if I set the icon focus color, it is just ignored, right? Because what we would like to see now is that this parameter is at least set. Input decorator, child decoration icon. Text form field, this is in the input decorator. In the input decoration, icon is icon. This is missing. Look at that. Guys, I found it. The problem is whenever we have a copy with or something like that, so if we set the values, we don't set them actually. And this is now the problem. So all these parameters that we had have to be also here in the input decoration. Because we have to set the variables, of course. This is what I was missing. Same thing for apply defaults. There we don't have anything. Then we have the override with this other part, which checks if they are equal. And all that stuff is missing. That was what I wanted to add. That's the problem. Good that we have written tests, right? Because with tests we find these problems. Ah, that's perfect. Fantastic. I'm feeling much better. So go. Sometimes the smallest issues, right? Can I ask you a question? Are you the guy who I'm thinking you are? I think we work together, right? So I don't know if I should say names, so I don't do that, but I think I have a clear mind. Would be great to see you for a coffee sometimes, because I'm still living in Karlsruhe and I think you are too here, so maybe that would be a good option if you have time. So widget, we have all these, they are all color. We have this in place, I think. What is wrong here? Yep, be fine. Okay, what is that? All right, so we take these parts and bringing them down here in the next part. Having to write. All right. I think so, and now we have to do it ourselves. So icon focus color or this icon focus color. And that would work with all of the different parts. So we copy this, bringing them to the end. Question, this dot part. And I think that's it. So let's have a look if I'm missing something. Apply defaults, I think we don't need that, right? Because that is anyway the case. The override with the identical, I think that we should do. That everything is in place. So I take these 4 colors, just these 2, and bring them into here. Up. And now we add end, having this part, other dot this equals to icon, copy again. We don't need that. Good. Is there anything else that we miss? Hash code. I think we also have to add these here. I hope I'm not too fast with my multi-cursor thing. But I don't want to write everything once and once. So the toString method here can be cloned, I think. And we just have this and that. The input decoration theme is dense, focus color. Creates a value for the theme. Okay, so the theme data hasn't changed, right? We don't do that. Input color, input border, all of that stuff. What do we have here? Input decoration theme. Here are the 3 colors inside. Should they be part of the input decoration theme? So that if we change the input decoration theme, then we also change the different colors of the icons? I think so, yes, right? So that means we would also want to add them here. Because if I see that, we have also the fill color, focus color, hover color, and so on and so forth. And now what we want to do is also adding these colors to it, I think. We missed quite a lot. Okay, so they don't exist, of course. So now we have to write documentation most likely again. So we bring them down here. Label text, text style. So I added them in the front. I think we can also add them at the end of the whole thing. Or maybe add them to the colors here. So we search for hover color. So we search for hover color. Stance, content, okay, suffix, fill color, focus color, hover color. And we would have then here our that stuff. Final color, giving these different colors. And add on top of that everywhere to do, add documentation. So they are all yellow, yep, because they also want to have so, and now the copy with that one has to have the same things, right? So also here we will have these parts and say color to it. Here we have the defaults again. Also here we have to add them. This, then we add. And here we have the hover color. So we also add all of them here. Yeah, sure, we can be friends. This is no problem. I'm friends with everyone. So hover color is here. So next step is to clone that 4 times. Debug fill properties, geez. Okay. So we would also here want to add this 4 times. Okay, that seems to work. And now we have all the parts. I think now we are better on the way. Let's see what the test is telling us. If we now receive at least the icon transformation with the icon color. Hey, okay, so that looks completely different. We get the color now. And now we can write maybe also the test like it was before. Instead of using the input decorator, we ask for the theme data. And then from the theme data, where was it with the icon? Icon color, I think was the name. Here we go. So icon theme, and then we search for the data. I think that was the best test here. Fantastic, we resolved that together. Dot color. So, and this one should now be our color. Then we can write the test surrounding that. Correct? Yes, indeed. but it's the wrong color. Or material color, primary color. So it is still wrong. So test.data.color. But wait, we had the other part. If I bring back the icon decorator, the problem is I don't know if the color is now taken into account, right? Difficult. I mean, with that I can test that we set the icon decoration correctly, which should be now the case, right? So icon focus color is now the color that we have specified, but this is not really a test if the icon has this color now in place, right? What did I do? This is a print, sorry, expect, of course. So, and this can be const. So this will be true now, most likely, because our icon data has the right data. Indeed. So this works. The ink icon focus color is that color. How do we receive the icon itself? Or better, why don't we get the icon decoration? This is here. So what I want to do is understanding how can I Flutter test icon color. First widget by type icon, icon.color, and then get the color. But this is only if I set the icon color directly, or yeah. By type container as so this is asking for decoration.color. Yeah, the problem is that we actually in the input decorator, if we take a look here, hey, welcome back, Ayush. In the input decorator, if we have a look here, we don't override the color of the icon itself. So what we do is the icon itself is getting passed as a child into the icon theme data, or better, into the icon theme itself. And with that, this icon changes its color without changing the parameter color of that icon. But we can try that. I mean, why not? So we have the test input decorator. And now we want to check if the... what do we want? The test decoration. Then we take the icon itself. And then we check for the color. While we have to say this is an icon, of course. Instead of doing this, we say just here as an icon, we receive... So we take that, then we get an icon from test. Decoration.icon as icon. And if we pass by this inside and asking for the color, maybe print the icon itself too, then we will see what I mean. Because unfortunately we get null as a result, and if we look up here where we return the toString of this icon, we see that only the icon data is set, not the color. And that is very important here in that case. So that means we can't ask for the color because it will be null. We search for the parent of that. So usually what I thought is that we can use the icon theme here, because the icon theme is like the parent of that and gets the color inside of the data. So my idea was that whenever we are ready here, we receive the icon theme. And from the icon theme, we can just test here the color or data.color, because the data is now overwritten, right? At least this was what I thought. The problem here is, if I test now the data.color, we do not receive that. We get now a material app color. So that means somehow our color is still getting overwritten. At least this is what I expect. So if we take here a look into, we see our color is not getting taken into consideration. Even though we are focused and the icon focus color is this. So input decoration of the icon. Okay, so what I would suggest, I will take now a break. I will eat something in the meantime. And in an hour or so, I will be back, because this afternoon, unfortunately, Matab has an appointment, so we can't make a Flutter together today. So what I would suggest is that we finish off this PR after the break. Can you check if it is working outside the test, like creating an input decoration will the new color? Yeah, I would like to. I would love to test that. I think we can use the examples for that, right? Because the examples will use the Flutter repository here, or? But we will have a look into that, how we can test that and how it will look. Maybe the color don't even changes, you're right. So we will have a look how we can create an example then and use the Flutter version from this repository with our changes. And after that, we will have a look. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today for the whole experience, and we will see us in an hour or so, and then I will go further with that. Thank you, till later.